Is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm very pleased to yield 4 minutes to the sponsor of this legislation, the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Lamborn.
The gentleman from Colorado is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and I thank the chairman of the committee, Doc Hastings. I rise in strong support of H.R. 1965, the Federal Lands, Job and Energy Security Act, which incorporates 4 additional bills into my bill. This legislation takes significant steps toward moving our country forward on a path to energy independence by streamlining government regulations and reducing government red tape that hinder onshore energy production. It will create new American jobs, promote energy and economic development, and increase revenues to the state and federal governments. This legislation also sets firm timelines for applications for permit to drill, or APD, approvals, and dedicates funds from APD, solar, and wind right-of-way fees to the permitting field offices. It will require the Bureau of Land Management to lease at least 25% of the nominated acreage not previously made available for lease. It will inject certainty into the leasing process and terms to give energy developers the certainty they need to move forward with production. It also requires the Secretary of Interior to develop a 4-year plan for onshore energy development, similar to the 5-year plan they are required to develop for offshore development. Opens up the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska for energy production, and allows the BLM to conduct leasing through the internet. Since taking office, despite claims to the contrary, President Obama has waged a war on energy development. Under the administration, a simple permit, which in my home state of Colorado on average takes 27 days to approve, takes nearly a year on federal land. And only minuscule areas of land have been leased for energy development, despite significant interest in many more acres. In fact, the Obama administration has had the 4 lowest years of federal acres leased for energy production going back to 1988. The Obama administration has even taken the shocking and questionable step of canceling leases that have been legally bought and paid for. Energy companies are practically fleeing from developing energy on federal lands in favor of the more reliable and state and private permitting processes. Further, the Obama administration has made it harder for oil shale technology to develop, so that companies are showing little interest in developing this promising technology. While the president tries to take credit for increased energy production under his administration, the reality is that the vast majority of any increased production occurs on state and private land that the federal government has no jurisdiction over. In fact, since 2009, total federal oil production is down 7.8%, and total natural gas production on federal lands is down 21%. My legislation would interject much-needed certainty into nearly every step of the onshore energy production process. It will ensure that permits are approved in a timely fashion, would prohibit the administration from changing lease terms or revoking leases after they have been legally won, would ensure that onshore leasing moves steadily forward, and will allow the Secretary to plan for this nation's future energy needs. Energy that is available and affordable creates more jobs for Americans, rather here at home rather than overseas. It lowers the price of essential goods that American families buy every day, and it leaves more of the hard-earned money in the pockets of Americans after they pay their gas and utility bills. There is no reasonable objection to this bill. I would urge my colleagues to support this critical legislation to create new American jobs, establish an efficient process to produce both renewable and conventional energy on federal lands. We can do this while meeting the extensive environmental standards that are already in place. I urge support for this bill, and Madam Chairman, I